96.3 Real Country and also online, 963realcountry.com. It's Brian Allen. I am so happy to be talking to Dewey Bunnell of the group America, and I am such a huge fan of you guys. Seriously, I remember as a teen, I grew up listening to everything you guys did, and your music kind of is what got me into wanting to do radio. So I've just been...
Well, thank you, Brian. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to get here. It's November 5th. Are you touring now, or is this just a show?
We're kind of always touring. You know, it's not like 30 years ago, 25 years ago, when
Right.
we go out for 2 or 3 months. We basically work all year long, doing long weekends, or in this case, I think we're stringing together about 10 days, 2 weeks. Coming to Wickenburg on Saturday, November 5th, that's right, at the Dell Webb Center. You know, we don't really do the long slogs anymore.
Do you miss those days, though? I mean, I would imagine it would get kind of tedious out on the road all the time. So now you guys are doing, you know, it's kind of like on your schedule now.
We string it out over the year. We still do about 85 to 100 shows a year.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, mostly like long weekends where we can leave on a Thursday, come home on a Sunday or a Monday, or leave on a Wednesday, come home on the following Wednesday, that kind of thing.
Right.
Mostly weekenders are what us old baby boomers go out to party on anyway.
Right, absolutely. And I wanted to ask you, because I've heard several different stories, and I thought if I ever get to talk to any of those guys in America, I got to ask. I've heard different stories about how you actually came up with the name, and I know, like you and Jerry, I know you guys were friends in high school, right?
Right.
And went to high school in London, actually.
Yeah. So that's the deal. We were like American teenagers. Our dads were Air Force, stationed in London, England. There was 2 RAF bases in London. We had several bases the U.S. did around England in general, but the London ones were more administrative bases, and we were at one. Our dads were anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of American kids. And civilians, too. You know, corporate kids and stuff would go there. But it was in North London, and we graduated in 1969, and we had a high school band that played surf music and top 40 music and stuff. And Jerry and Dan and I, the original trio, Dan Peake, Jerry
Right.
and myself, Dewey Bunnell, we just kind of morphed into this thing called America. And the name certainly came from that fact. When we started to get noticed playing a few little gigs around London, and really directly out of high school,
Uh-huh.
it all happened very rapidly. You know, we were kind of referred to as those American kids, or the American ones, or the whatever.
Right.
So America was and Chicago, who have subsequently become good friends of ours, had released their first album. So they were called Chicago, and we thought, well, we can be America.
That's, you know what, and now the thing is, when you hear the name America and you're referring to music, you guys just have that sound. It was the harmonies, and what I wanted to ask you, when you guys started doing the music together, like when you were in high school, was there any similarity between like what you were doing then and like when you became the group America?
Well, really, you know, we started sort of arranging the vocals and so on that fit our voices for pop songs of the day. We actually still do California Dreamin', which was
wow.
we did for a movie one year too, but after we had some success. But we had been playing that in high school, and I think the sort of original quote-unquote aspect of our band began with that rearranging top 40 songs
Mm-hmm.
that our vocal range or our vocal blend, and maybe writing a different bridge for them or something. And what ultimately happened was we started writing our own songs.
Right,
And
right.
applied those same elements to those. But it's nothing, there's no magic in it. I mean, harmony singing and arranging those vocal patterns and acoustic guitars was nothing new. It was just we added our own idiosyncrasy.
Your flair, yeah. It just kind of comes natural when you guys probably all go into the studio together.
Yeah,
and
yeah, it became, so anytime one of us wrote a song, we all kind of knew what part we were going to sing.
Right.
We'd sit around with 3 acoustic guitars, and whoever wrote the song would start singing it, and the other guys would fall in, find their guitar parts and their vocal parts. And
Right.
that was the basis, at least, for whatever song we ended up recording.
Okay, and I saw you in one interview that I know Ventura Highway, like one of your favorites out of the catalog, but I got to ask because it's puzzled me since I think that was out when I was maybe like 13 or 14, and like I kept listening to the song, going, are they really saying alligator lizards in the air? And that was when it was on vinyl, and you could pick up the needle, you remember, and go back and go, is that really what they?
Yeah.
Seriously, I got to ask, where did that come from? What does that mean? I'm just so confused.
Well, when I was a kid and we were stationed, our family at a base in California, first time we lived out on the West Coast, it was in a place called Vandenberg Air Force Base between Santa Barbara and San
Yeah.
It's a famous missile base. But my brother and I would go out and catch lizards and snakes and stuff, and there is a species of lizard king called an alligator lizard. So when I was writing about Ventura Highway and the sun and the free wind blowing through your hair, reminiscing on California, I conjured up that imagery. And remember, I wrote it when I was in England, in rainy old England.
Right.
So I was keying in on all that stuff. But it's funny you had to pick up the needle. For years afterwards, we'd hear this one couple of women who would come to the show who thought that the lyric was bench on a highway, not Ventura Highway.
Right. I was going to say my sister always thought it was Ventura Highway. And I'm like,
Ventura
no,
Highway,
yeah, it's Ventura. It's California. That's what it is. And she was like, oh, okay, now I get it. But
Yeah, I think we put Ventura on the map.
I think you did too. You certainly helped get some business out that way, I'm sure.
And also, just in the interest of authenticity, there is no Ventura Highway. There's a Ventura Boulevard, there's a Ventura Freeway,
Right.
there's the town of Ventura, the county of Ventura, but there's no Ventura Highway.
But there is Ventura Highway, the one that we can always listen to, which is awesome because that's like one of my favorite songs you guys did.
And apparently there is a little piece of Ventura Freeway that's called Ventura Highway, but that's another story.
Oh, like a little stretch of it?
Yeah, apparently there is.
Oh, that's cool. I did not know that. Now, and you know, one thing that I love about you guys, it's been, 40 plus years you guys are still doing it.
46.
46?
Well,
Wow.
started in 70.
Wow. I knew it was like, I was going to say like 43 maybe, but wow, 47. That's great. And that kind of leads into what I was going to ask you. I remember hearing about all these like super bands that would break up and then, they'd try to reform, but it wasn't like the original lineup and you could kind of check, because everybody is like in the band is like a piece of the puzzle. And you guys, I know that Dan was a part of the original lineup, but you and Jerry are still doing it and the sound is still there. What do you think has kept you guys together solid? And I know you were friends growing up, but
from the original trio, which was the first two albums, really. Then we expanded to a five-piece with a drummer and a bass player because we needed a rhythm section, and by then we'd had some huge hits, and we had to expand the show, the band, to make the show something more significant. Dan then left in 77, which was after 6 albums that were really big, important albums for us, our band and our legacy, and that was it for Dan, actually. He'd gone on to do other things.
Mm-hmm.
Terry and I then forged on as a duo. We expanded a little bit. We're still a five-piece. When you see us in Wickenburg, we're going to be a five-piece.
Okay.
This is really what we've always done. It's the only thing that Jerry and I ever had imagined we could do, and let alone be successful at it. So there's no other option.
We cannot wait for you guys to get here. Saturday, November 5th, by the way, Del Webb Center for the Performing Arts. If you've never seen America live, got to see these guys, and we're so happy that you're coming back to Arizona.
We're
Thank
looking
you.
Forward to it. My wife and I's daughter lives there and goes to school in Tempe, so
oh, nice.
her friends will be coming out.
Okay, we'll get to hang with Dad and just have some family time.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Dewey, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, and we cannot wait to see you guys live.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Brian.